Before I got my licence, a friend of mine actually had a Datsun 260Z. Like with a lot of Z owners, it's always a friend that gets you into them, so. It's the original 2.4 litre, but with aftermarket throttle body injection, and got rid of the distributor, so there's just a coil pack in there. It's putting out, I think, about 150 kilowatts at the wheels, which works out to, I think, about 240 odd horsepower. Front nose is off a Japanese-only model called the 240ZG. I've always been a big fan of that front nose that extends the front by almost 30 centimetres. It's not the best for parking in the public areas because you don't know where the front ends because you can't see it, but I'm very happy with that. Everybody in Australia knows a Datsun. Everybody either knows somebody who had one or they had one themselves. It's the sort of car you fall in love with and never want to let go. There's nothing else like it around, really. I've had quite a few other Nissans and I've always sold them off and bought one of these again, so. I could hear him a mile away. And I said, yep, that's a Z, you know, who is it, you know? I love the short wheelbase of it. The fact when you're sitting inside, you're almost on top of the rear wheel. I'm still trying to get a good time around Phillip Island. Anything under a 2 minute is, you know, a nice quick time. That's one of those on the to-do list, so. I was very advanced for when it came out. Four-wheel independent suspension, McPherson struts on all four corners. There weren't many cars around that time that had that sort of technology in it. Looking at it now and then comparing to cars of today, you go, you know, they had it back then.
Joining Nissan Motorsport in 2013 was a massive achievement for myself. One of the first things I got to experience was taking delivery of a Nissan 370Z as my personal road car. Coming from driving Fords the previous few years, it was a big step up. Something I definitely loved. It has such a great heritage. I remember Paul Newman racing the 240Z, so that's how far it goes back, and obviously such a famous name in Paul Newman racing the Z brands. The 370Z as a road car is a really quick road car, to be honest. It's 3.7 V6, puts out about 245 kilowatts, rear-wheel drive, and comes in 6-speed manual. So you definitely get the whole Z experience when you're driving this car on the road. I think probably one of the biggest things that is so iconic about the Z brand is ever since the first 240Z rolled out, you can see that heritage in the cars along the way. 370Z, current model that sits behind me, you can sort of see that styling that first rolled out in the 240Z really gives something extra to the 370 or the Z brand. One of the great features that the 370Z has is the Synchro Rev Match, basically auto blips on the down changes for you, which ties back into what Nissan and their innovation is all about. Creating those things that on the racetrack we develop and tune, and then feeding them into the road car range. But one of the luxuries we don't have in V8 supercars is things like ABS or traction control, although we have very safe cars with the roll cage we have around us. And that's one of the great features of the 370Z, and I've experienced it both on the road and in racing conditions. Things like the ABS system in the car is fantastic. This year I got to experience not only driving a Z on the road, but I also raced a 370Z in the Dubai 24-hour race. That was basically taking a very stock standard 370Z and putting it on the track for 24 hours, and that was a phenomenal experience. and it was great for me to be able to, I guess, translate what I'd felt driving the Z on the road into a race scenario.